One. And we're live. Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we give you a full dish of this week's episodes of NBC's #1 hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. I'm your host, Tony Moore, and I'm joined by my gaggle of gal.
Gaggle of gal. I'm a gaggle of a gal.
Just one gaggle. That's it.
Gaggle.
Just one. If you guys haven't already, make sure you like us and follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days on Facebook and Instagram, and _Dishin Days on the Twitter. The @ is still in quarantine. And also, make sure you go show some love to JLJ Media, brought to you by our very own James Locke Jr., who has all types of soapy goodness over there on his YouTube channel, starting with the GH Mini Spotlight, the Bold Mini Spotlight, and also the newest show from our Tammy Govea, Daytime Today. So make sure you guys go and check out all of your daytime fix over at JLJ Media. And also, there's a podcast called Forever and a Day, which I will soon be making my debut. So if you haven't listened to that, make sure you go check that out as well. Coming up later on in the show, we have two of your favorite characters who just recently bid adieu to Salem for the good old dry desert of Arizona. That's right, Freddie Smith and Chandler Massey will be joining us later on in the show. And trust me, you want to stick around because if you know us, you know that we have all sorts of surprises coming up. All right, Michael Mattis, what did you think of this week's episodes?
It was all right.
You can stop the theme music now.
Oh, I can. I was just gonna let it go. No, it was. We got some reveals this week. We got a little more info about some people. We had a few returns, which were interesting. A few surprises. It was a solid week. I still go back to that week a couple weeks ago with the Ben Eve stuff. Like that week was just a crazy week. Mm-hmm. And so it's hard to like top that every week, but no, it was a solid week.
I thought so too. I thought it's kind of like I would say it was a good info week because there were some reveals, and that definitely helped move the story along, and also kind of set us up for next week as well.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. I feel like there are just like beads of sweat, but I can't tell if it's like sweat or if it's my juices and berries from like me putting in like stuff from my hair. Yeah. First of all, kudos to you for knowing that. That's twice today, Malcolm Mattis. You said trifling earlier, and now you're talking about Soul Glow. I gotta keep my eye on you. All right, everybody, it is now time to start Dishin Days. And look what's back, everybody. Yay. And we said it and forget it. All right, everyone. So let's kick off everything with the first storyline with Ben, Ciara, Vincent, Sean, and Hope. Someone tweeted me this week and they were like, Tony, you nailed it. It was when I said last week that I thought it was going to be Vincent, that Vincent had her. But it was very interesting to see, first of all, Ciara slept like a baby in that cot. Mm-hmm. As she was dreaming about her life with Ben. I was like, oh wow, is this like a glimpse of like what's not gonna happen with Ciara?
We're getting what everybody wants and what the characters want, but you know, it's her fantasies. It's about her perfect life with Ben.
Yeah.
Until he gets a necktie as a gift.
Oh, right. But you know what? You know what's interesting though? I kind of felt like as they were showing that whole montage, I was like, you know, I really wish that for 2 seconds they could have just been a happy couple, like after they got married. Like I feel like
they are the couple. Like they had some happy moments before the wedding, even though someone was messing with them and you know destroying the dress and all that. stuff. They had but yeah, they seem to be this couple, and this was almost like, speaking of Will and Sunny, they kind of had that pattern too, where it was like they would get over one conflict and it would just lead to another conflict and another conflict, and it was like, okay, let them be happy for a second. And so Ben and Ciara are this year's couple that just can't catch a break. And now we have a little more information about why Vincent in particular is in the picture. Not just some random friend of Eve's that decided to help her. He has a stake in this too.
Okay, so here's the funny thing. So when Vincent was like, Eve wasn't the only person that wanted revenge on Ben Weston. I too want my revenge on him. And I was like, and then it kind of cut to commercial. And during commercial, I was like, why? Because of Wendy? And then it came back. He came back and he was like, Wendy was the love of my life. I was like, oh, sorry, girl. I didn't think anybody, knew Wendy.
Nobody, yeah, right? Because even like he said, like, oh, he killed the love of my life, and he was like, who? Serena?
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, I was like, no, let's not. No, Serena can. Unfortunately, that character, like, I don't want her back.
You know what happened to Serena?
Dead.
No, but you know what? I actually really appreciated the fact that Days did something for Wendy, because I feel like we've always been more upset about the deaths of Paige, Serena, and of course Will. Will was like the major one. And we always threw Wendy in there like, Wendy.
And then there was Wendy.
Yeah, and then there was Wendy. But Wendy was the midwife that came to deliver Abigail's baby.
I think. Yeah. It was Abigail and Chad's baby, who they thought may have been Ben's at one point, or who Ben thought may have been his at one point. Back when Ben was all about Abigail. I forget that. I have to remind myself of that Ben came into the fold as Abigail's love interest, and it's all about her first. Yeah. And they don't really revisit that at all. They never ever since Ben and Ciara have been a thing, that's just been like forgotten. Maybe not forgotten, but not brought up.
Not like it's kind of like not how they normally do with like just reminding us of certain things. Is Bimby okay? Did he jump? Did he run? What happened? Because he scared you. What happened?
So the bedroom door was like slightly open. And he ran out because my husband opened the front door. And he like tried to hurry out, but he couldn't fit through the door. So the door it was. He's fine. He came back.
He did. He came back. He was like, all is good.
Like, all right, everything's good.
Anyway. My God. But it's not like how they usually like sometimes remind us. But I always feel like when they start reminding you of characters and things in the past, it's because something is about to happen.
It's foreshadowing.
As we saw this week. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I actually, and it's funny because I looked up Wendy, or the actress who played Wendy, to see what she looked like, to see if I would believe what Vincent was saying. Because in my mind, I had pictured Wendy completely different. And I was like, her fiance? What did Wendy look like? And then I was like, oh.
Yeah, when Wendy was on, she like had her hair back and in glasses. And I'm like, okay, maybe Vincent always hasn't been this like slicked hair back, black suit wearing villain, Maybe he used to be a little more casual. Maybe that's when he and Wendy were a thing.
Scott Holston in the chat said, I don't buy that Vincent was with Wendy. He too fine. But I actually believed it. I actually believed that like they were possibly a couple. Wendy was a beautiful woman. I shouldn't say is, because the actress is still around. She's a beautiful woman. So I could see it, but it did make me go back and like look at Wendy to make sure that I believed what they were saying. But I thought it was definitely an interesting twist, because I started being like, Ciara, like, Um, okay, if Eve is in jail,
Yeah.
and my grandfather has money, they'll double, triple, quadruple. What do you want? Oh, I want revenge. I was like, revenge? What?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and we also found out what had happened with Ben and Ciara. Vincent came in and was frustrated that he hadn't done it yet.
And see, and I felt that, like, I felt like he came in and was just kind of like killer, and then like he like snapped and he went for him, and then now we see that Vincent like stuck him with with like. Well, wait, what did Ciara say? What did you give him? Some sort of like, she said something.
Rhino tranquilizer or something, because it was like so immediate.
And it made me giggle, and I was like, dang. But it's definitely an interesting plot twist. But I was also kind of like, y'all, this girl cannot go through nothing else.
No.
Like, at some point, she's just gonna have to sit in her house and say, you know what? I'm good with the world. Like,
COVID may be over, but I'm still quarantining.
Right. It's like everybody keeps coming after me, and I don't appreciate that.
Yeah, like she's been almost set on fire multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Someone blew up her wedding.
Yeah.
Now she's been kidnapped again.
I'm like, oh, you poor thing.
Again, let them be happy for a minute.
Yeah,
and then give them more bullshit.
But I keep having to commend Robert Scott Wilson, because his performances are just like amazing, and even with him finally seeing Marlena to go under hypnosis to remember what happened, even those scenes between him and her were great, because I just like their friendship. You know what I mean? Like, I like that she's there for him, and even like the touch of the hand, of like the reaching for the hand for like comfort. I was like,
you know who she's not there for? Jan. We'll get to that in a minute. I'm not seeking new patients. See you later.
And left.
Exit stage left.
Exit all the way left. Like, it wasn't even a thought. She literally looked like, I'm not taking new patients, excuse me. And then just like left. And Jan didn't even have a chance to react. There wasn't like or nothing. But yeah, we'll dive more into that. And so now the search is on to hopefully find Ciara. I saw someone in the chat said that they keep talking about how Ciara was asleep and unbothered.
Unbothered. Could not be bothered. Did not have anything to give.
But do you think that like he like might have drugged her or something?
No, I think he gave her the same thing that he gave Ben, right?
Yeah.
Because he sedated her.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he even mentioned that he gave her the same thing that he gave Ben.
Did you find it interesting that he also said that like you're fine and unmolested or not molested?
Did he? Okay, did I hear that right?
Yeah, that's what he said.
It's an odd word to use.
That's what I thought too, and I was like, is this more so for us as the fans to like let us know that like nothing happened to Ciara?
Maybe, yeah. I heard that, and then I thought I heard it wrong, so I didn't. Nope. I was like, I heard it wrong, but I heard it right. Okay, yeah. Interesting. Just an info statement. Yeah.
I'm looking. I'm always looking at the chat room to see like what people are saying.
They're talking about Will and Sunny. They're not even talking about what we're talking about.
No, not at all. Sorry. As I was looking at I'm just gonna point it out anyway because that's what we do. As I was looking at the chat room, I see Dwight said that it was his idea to get Chandler on. Okay.
I mean, he has been tweeting it every week for what year are we in? For a while.
For a while, yes. Some people are talking about.
They're talking about like Leo and Xander and Paul and Sunny.
Someone's mentioning Luke and Noah, and I believe they were the first gay couple from As the World Turns. Yeah. Yeah. So Annette Thompson says the best gay couple is Leo and Xander.
That was some of the best episodes of Days I've ever seen.
I agree. Oh, Daquan reminded us that the request for Chandler came in every single week. Anyway, so now that they know that Vincent has Ciara, Hope is doing what she can to find her.
They put out an APB on Vincent. I'll put an APB or a person missing. They're looking for him.
Yeah,
is what's happening.
Yes. And we when Sean Douglas was interrogating him, I was like, "Girl, calm down."
Yeah.
Like
even Hope's like, chill.
Hope pulled a mom move and like slung him out and was like, "You go." and then Claire, which by the way, this is only the second time we've seen new Claire.
Yeah.
So well, it's still fine. But when Hope was like, "Your dad is in there," I was like, "Who's her daddy?
Who's that?"
I said, "Oh, Sean."
There's a disconnect between. I don't know. I don't know why. Like, recasts happen all the time and you adjust. But I think just because it was so long. It's been like 2 weeks since
it's been a while since we saw her. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a really quick transition, like maybe one episode. And then we haven't seen her since. And then she came on and I was like, I had to be reminded. I was like, oh yeah, that's Claire.
Yeah, me too. Like it's almost like I totally forgot about like Claire and like her whole history and everything because it was met with a new face. I wonder what it's like for them though, when like they start a scene and the girl runs up and they're like,
who that?
Who that?
Like, oh, you're talking to me.
They start looking around like this, like
someone behind me.
Claire.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's pretty much what happened with that storyline, right?
Yep.
All right. So, oh, Lordy. Let's get on to Eric, Nicole, Sami, Jan, Victor, Sean,
Round
Bell,
2.
and Lucas. Okay, so listen, y'all know that my favorite character is Sami Brady. However, during the court, I was literally like, so are we just gonna allow Sami to keep having these stunts and shenanigans? And Justin, at what point are you going to say, Sami, shall we run down your resume?
He should have found Jamie. Do you remember Sami's friend Jamie, who knew all of her secrets and ratted her out at least once?
Mm-mm.
They should have dug her up and been like, spill.
Right. But my thing is, it's like she's literally digging to like show Nicole in a bad light. And I'm like, so why aren't y'all fighting fire with fire?
The same with Sami, yeah.
Tammy, you are right. My other favorite character is Susan. Yes, but I
always Tammy, Tony, your favorite character is Susan.
Right. like she reminded me. I'm like, thank you. Sarah Johnson says it's probably going to take a while to get used to new Claire. Well,
if they only have her on every 2 weeks, then it's going to be difficult.
A little bit. But I was just kind of like, these are too many stunts and shows for this courtroom, and like no one is saying anything about her. And when everything was overturned, I was just kind of like,
that's not fair. Yeah.
No,
it was very one-sided, and Nicole did not have an appropriate defense to like at least counterattack Sami with Sami's all of her indiscretions, which we know are numerous.
Mm-hmm.
So and I feel like the judge this week didn't really do anything to stop Sami like she was last week, and I feel like the judge was just kind of like, you know what, I give up. She's gonna do what she's gonna do.
I feel like she was entertained. She was just kind of like, here she go. Here she go again. All right. Okay. Well, let's it's almost kind of like, well, let's see what Miss Thang about to bring in now.
Yeah.
Like that's how.
I was corrected last week because I believe when we were talking about Jan Spears and I said, oh yeah, she tried to kill Victor by throwing a toaster in the bathtub. And no, it was a radio. I had said toaster, but it was a radio. And we got the whole rundown this last week when Miss Jan Spears made her return from Shady Pines.
Oh my God. Angel just said, Tony, this is the same Sami who tried to sell Belle on the black market.
Yeah, why didn't they bring that up?
Right. Daquan says, Nicole has been trashing Sami and exposing her schemes for weeks, but when Sami does it to Nicole, oh, Sami gone too far. Okay, here's the thing.
Come on.
Here's the thing, Daquan. Like, yes, like Nicole shouldn't have been meddling in the family business because she's married into the family. She's not family. I understand that. But in a court of law, when Sami is clearly digging for stuff to pin on Nicole just so it serves her, that's a problem. And I think everyone keeps trying to say that like, oh, Nicole is trying to stick it to Sami. And it's kind of like, I thought that for a second, but I'm like, that's a sticky situation, but Sami is clearly sticking it to Nicole. And even Belle, even when Jan revealed herself to Belle and Sean, and Belle went to go confront Sami, she even brought it up. She was like, see, that right there. You're always sorry after you get what you want.
Right.
And it doesn't matter.
Sami doesn't think about that before. She gets tunnel vision and she's like, I need to do this so I can get what I want. And then after the fact, when she sees like, oh, this is having an effect on someone else, then she's sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you can't plot and scheme and then get caught up in everything and people get hurt. Then you're like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, sorry.
But guess what? I got the baby.
Yeah.
It's like, girl.
Yeah.
Bye.
No. Same old Sami.
But let me tell you, I would have been Lucas throughout that whole thing. Lucas was just kind of like, it's almost like Lucas always has this face on him when he's talking to Sami, like, okay, like, you know, you messed up, right? You know, you messed up. Okay, like, you know, this is all going to blow up. And then all of a sudden it's like, it's Belle. And he's like, see, told you.
Here
it's
comes
like,
Phil.
Yep. And when that slap came, he was just like, ooh, like he didn't even.
He went.
and when Sami was like, because Belle was like, you know, Jan is still crazy, and she's like, crazy people can recover. Look at Claire, and Lucas was like, ooh, no, not good,
nope.
Not good. And then she was like, what? I mean, you know, and I'm like, oh, girl, I'm like, you're not even helping the situation
Your foot's in it now. You might as well, you stepped in it. You might as well go with it.
Oh, exactly. I still feel like I feel like this. This is just my thought. Sami feels like she's winning now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when Allie comes back and she finds out all the stuff that Sami did, Allie is about to go.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I have always felt like she was a very capable person of making decisions in what she felt like was best. And I think because Eric and Nicole helped her throughout this whole thing and really listened to her and listened to what she wanted, she trusted her baby more so to them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but I also wish that, you know, Will and Sonny just, you know, adopted the baby so that Allie could get her puppy, but that's a whole nother thing.
I know, is Allie still getting a puppy? Ari, right?
Yeah.
Is Ari still getting, yeah. No, I was going to say,
no.
I wonder if Ari is still getting a puppy, even though she's, you know, even though they're moving.
I don't think so. Someone said, why wasn't Lucas in the courtroom? Because Lucas didn't want to be a part of the shenanigans.
Lucas just wanted to babysit.
Yeah, and he also had to babysit. I feel like there is some. There was something that was being discussed in here. Daquan said, Tony, you're forgetting something. Eric and Nicole's lawyer is Justin, the worst Salem lawyer ever.
He's the only Salem lawyer.
Well, besides Belle, but she's in and out.
Oh, but yeah,
Bob Crackle, I hope I pronounced that right, said releasing Sami's skeletons would have been fabulous.
Yeah.
I agree. And Beth Walker says, yes, Ari's getting a puppy.
I saw that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Seems like the Salem slaps have become more frequent since Hurricane Sammy returned. That's what J Squared said. Of course they have. Marlon Wallace and Megan reminded us that EJ was a lawyer as well.
That's right. After he was a race car driver. Didn't he come on as a race car driver?
He did.
And then suddenly he was a lawyer.
Well, listen, one phone call
for Titan for a time. Yeah.
One phone call can change everything. So there is that. And then, we mentioned the return of Jan Spears, which shout out to Heather Lindell for coming back and slaying and still looking great. I don't know about you, but did you feel like really good to see like Jan and Belle and Sean? I felt like a little nostalgic. Yeah. I was like,
nice. And they all look like really good for like they of course have aged, but they've all aged very well. Like they took the death becomes her potion back in like the early 2000s and now they've come back and they look exactly the same.
I completely 10,100% agree with that.
And I like that they're able to still, after all these years, like Heather Lindell hasn't been on for a while. And I know they had the app show.
Yeah.
The Last Blast app show, but how they're able to like step into character and be exactly the same as they were as in character as they were years ago.
But they also refer to that. They refer to what happened on the.
Oh well, yeah, they're giving us a little, for those who, as Chriselle said, watched the main show and maybe didn't watch the app. They're giving us what happened on the app, so that we know the more recent, like why Jan was in Shady Pines.
Yes.
But because of what happened on the app.
Right. But yeah, I was actually surprised that they did that though, because sometimes I'm always kind of like, well, if it's on the app, maybe they won't feature it on the main show.
Yeah.
But they actually did. So
yeah.
That was interesting.
I'm curious to see where they're going with this. Obviously,
me too.
I don't think they brought Jan back just for this this little arc of a story. I think they're going to do more with her, but I'm curious where, like, and Philip, like, I'm curious how this Belle, Sean, Philip, Jan story is going to progress, where they're going with it, what's going to happen. I really can't venture a guess, but no, it'll be interesting to see where they go with it.
Agreed. Angel Cassidy said, did anyone else notice that creepy music with Jan's entrance? I mean, isn't it always creepy music when someone walks in?
It wasn't. Nope,
it wasn't that one. I would remember that one.
Jim, and then before Jan, we didn't mention that Victor came in and tried to testify against Nicole too.
I was like, Victor, that wasn't even worth taking your walk.
It wasn't necessary, no.
Not at all. Like, as many times as you've been to court, you knew good and well that your testimony was not going to put Nicole anywhere near where you wanted her to be.
Right.
All right. Oh, I was going to say, Jim Riss said that, this was a good one. I wanted to read it. Matt also laughed out loud at your Death Becomes Her reference.
Oh.
And then Jim Riss said, I really wanted Will, Sonny, and Paul to be daytime's first throuple. Christopher Sean is so hot.
Yeah.
I often wonder what storylines could have happened if they had kept Will and Sonny and Evan Christian, and Paul. Like, if they were all in Salem, like, what kind of storylines could have happened?
Yeah. something to think about.
Would have been interesting.
Yeah.
All right, and that's pretty much it with that storyline, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking of Sunny and Will, we have Sunny, Will, Kate, Lucas, Marlena, Victor, Sami, Justin, and all the bye-byes.
All the goodbyes.
It does kind of feel like it happened all of a sudden.
It was very quick, yeah.
So now when, because back when Freddie was discussing like how they kind of found out as they were like reading the scripts.
Yeah.
I was like, now I see how they were reading and probably thinking like, are we moving?
Like, where are we going? What are they doing with it?
Right. What's happening with this?
Yeah.
So yeah. So and then all the goodbyes were happening. I was like, oh, this is all.
Yeah. I will say, even though it happened quick, it wasn't as quick as like Gabby and Rafe. Yeah. Where it was like 2 episodes and they were gone. Like, this had a little bit of lead up to it, and all of the proper goodbyes happened, and Will told Marlena that, you know, of course they're going to have a fabulous guest room. What gay doesn't have a fabulous guest room? And she thought that was the funniest damn thing she's heard her entire life.
Me too. But I laughed at it too. I was like, he right
did it. I was like, you know, gays have fat. I was just like, and then Marlena was like, ah. Even my husband Mark was watching it with me, and he was like, okay. When she gave out that like big guffaw of a laugh, it's like, it's not that funny.
Well, I mean, I didn't give out like a big laugh like that, but I did.
I mean, it was a
like
cute comment, but yeah.
I gave a chuckle of like, true. you know, the gays always have a great guest room. Well,
yeah, because we have a good guest room, so it does ring true.
I mean, when you go into the guest room, you should walk in it and it should feel like, oh, wait, am I in someone's room? Because if it doesn't
that would be how you would feel, yeah.
Yeah, because if it doesn't feel like that, then clearly, like, if it just has a bed and no decor on it,
yeah,
or like you have to hand someone sheets, it's a problem.
The bed needs to be made. The bed is always made.
I'm just saying. I laughed when Sunny came in to say goodbye to Justin, and he walked in with the hat on.
With the hat on, because Victor was like, I have a going away gift for you. Take this damn hat. And it was just so odd.
And Bonnie was offended.
Yeah.
Bonnie was like, excuse you, where'd you get that hat from? I was like, that's right, girl. That hat was for your man, Justin.
Yeah.
But it was definitely like a very tearful moment. And the song, I love when they do the playbacks or the flashbacks.
Yeah.
Of like them getting together, them at the coffee shop, like, you know, them, I want to say maybe making love for the first time. Because that was
the first time. And Will and Sunny had some pretty, like back in the day when they were first together, they had like some pretty, what's the word?
Steamy, hot.
Steamy, there we go. Steamy love scenes. Like, they did not hold back just because it was a gay couple. Like, there was one they were in the shower, and I just remember that from back when I was watching it, and I was like, ooh, they're really going for this. Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Good for them.
And of course, Sami's reaction of like, classic Sami.
You're not leaving.
And even and like to see Will's face, Will was just like, here we go. I knew this one was going to be the difficult one. But they're a very I don't know. It just really sucks that like they have to say goodbye, because I just really I feel like there's so much that they could have done with them, and so many things that they could have explored, and so many things that I think that the fans would have enjoyed.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so according, like, what was in Soap Opera Digest this week, Ken Corday says that they're going to be coming and going, which apparently was news to Chandler and Freddie. But so who knows what we're gonna get going forward? But hopefully maybe sometime down the road, Will and Sunny can come back on the canvas and we can get more story.
Yeah.
But for now, they in Arizona.
They are going to Arizona. That last shot of them in Horton Town Square.
Yeah.
And going back and visiting. I think Will said, everyone always, before they leave Salem, they always come and, say goodbye to his grandparents.
Yeah.
And then when they kind of joined the wayside and kind of walked off, I felt like they were whispering to each other. I don't know if that's just me, but I felt like they were whispering to each other. And I was like, oh, I wonder
what they were saying.
What they were talking about.
They were whispering I guess this is our last scene.
It's this is it, girl. Make it work.
This is it.
And and you have to wonder, because it was their last scene, did the director yell cut and then everyone just kind of come out and go, great job, Freddie, great job, Chandler, we're gonna miss you, roll out a cake or something? Or were they cut,
next scene,
moving on, and it was just kind of that's it. That's how we.
Well, that's one thing we can one thing we can ask them when they come out.
So, I guess we shall see on that. Was there any goodbye that you I don't know if you can enjoy a goodbye, but
no, yeah, they were all very appropriate. Everybody that was appropriate got a goodbye. Even Kate and Philip, or wait, maybe it was just Kate and Lucas. But
no, it was Kate and Lucas.
Kate and Kate got a goodbye.
Yes.
But Philip because
I feel like Philip was there earlier, but then
he had left.
Wait, hold on.
It was definitely Kate and Lucas.
Yes.
But I can't remember if Philip was still there or not. Maybe not. Maybe he had gone back to the mansion.
I think he did. I think he had already got back. Yeah.
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 But no, it was. They were all good, and they weren't overly dramatic or overly schmaltzy or anything. They were just some nice goodbyes, and we'll come visit. You'll come visit.
Yeah, and it's all will be fine. So.
Sunny apparently didn't say goodbye to a cousin, but I don't know who they're referring to. Question: why didn't Sunny say goodbye to his cousin?
Is that Xander?
Oh, maybe.
I think
Xander was too busy getting freaky with Ciara.
Maybe.
Philip had left Lucas and Kate at the table, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I get so distracted by what's going on in the chat room. Someone, little Aber Lisa said Philip had left Lucas and Kate at the table. Yes, that's where it is. Yes. Okay. That's cool. What happened. All right. Well, we're going to dive more into Sunny and Will later on when we are joined by Freddie Smith and Chandler Massey. Before we move on to our tidbits, we just want to remind you all, first of all, thank you guys so much for tuning in to our show live, or even if you're tuning in later. But whenever you tune in, make sure you give us a thumbs up. Make sure you like our video. Make sure you share it. And leave comments, because we're always looking at the comments. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel. So that way you can always know exactly where to go when we're here giving you a full recap every Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thank you all so much. We really appreciate you.
Yes.
So moving on to tidbits, we'll start with Xander, Victor, and Philip. What do you think about that?
I kind of had a feeling that this was going to happen, that Victor was not going to be able to choose one or the other. I knew it was going to be like a co-CEO situation where they're both going to run Titan together, and then that's going to be the storyline. What I am curious about is if, now that Brady is back, if he's going to throw another wrench into the situation and be like, well, I won't be CEO again. And if it's going to be three CEOs or what's going to happen there. I'm curious to see if Brady is going to try to come back into the fold as well. But for right now, it's Philip and Xander.
I was actually very scared that he was going to just give it to Philip. So I was surprised that he decided to make them double CEOs and make them work together. But I was also just kind of like, it's not bad.
Yeah. No, no, and I kind of figured this was how it was going to go, and that's how it went. I did kind of have a hope that he would pick Xander and be like, Philip, you need to earn my, you need to earn my trust again. Just because you're my son, you can't just step in. And I just feel like it came out of the blue that Philip is suddenly back and wants to be CEO of the company. Like after however many years, 5-6 years, however long he was gone, he just comes back and is like, I want to be CEO. It's like, did you just wake up in the morning and decide that and fly to Salem? It was just a little odd to me, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah. I do feel a lot of people were saying that they feel bad for Xander. And I do too, because I feel like he has literally been Victor's right-hand man and has done everything to like show him how he will do anything for him, for the family,
he is to Victor, yeah.
Yeah, and then like he finally gets what he feel like he's deserving of, and then Victor's like, oh, now that Philip's here, now I'm gonna consider, him for CEO. And it's like, well, that's rude.
Yeah, rude. What did you think of the fight?
I was like, when it's a school fight and someone's like, come on, put him up. No, I'm gonna beat your ass. Come on. It's like, no one's really gonna do anything.
Yeah.
Although, Xander did get in that one punch into Philip, and Philip didn't punch him back. Yeah. Or the headbutt. All I heard was a whoosh, and I didn't know what happened.
It was a headbutt. The sound effects on Days are very intense right now.
Yeah.
Like you feel it. Like that headbutt, you felt it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. But I really thought they were about to get into it, but then they didn't, and I was like, ugh.
Ugh.
Okay. So anyway, I don't know. Who do you think would make a better CEO?
I don't know.
I mean, judging by the fact that I guess Xander was doing so great with the fourth quarter that he got a little fourth quarter nookie.
So yeah, I guess I'll go with Xander because he's in it currently. He's been in it. He's apparently making a success, being successful. So yeah, I guess my vote goes to Xander.
I would agree, and because I feel like Philip. Sorry, I was typing at the same time. Philip has been removed from Salem for quite some time, so it's you can't pop in and know how to run this company.
Like Jane Austen says, "At what the company doesn't do anything." Well, apparently it does something. Not seeing it.
Some people say Brady. Some people say Philip. Someone said Sonny. I think Sonny would have been an interesting choice as CEO. Yeah. But I felt like he just didn't get a chance. And also, I kind of feel like Sonny was just kind of I don't think this is for me.
Yeah. Someone said Kate. Justin Harold said Kate would be the right CEO. I think Kate's just done. Kate's been done with it for a while.
But Kate she could have been the CEO at Demare or Titan.
Right.
But whatever, they're lost. All right, so let's move on to Chad, Kate, Gwen, Jake, and the return of Abigail.
Miss Marcy Miller. Looking great, by the way.
Why is it that Jake and Gwen are literally the same people? When they're going through it, they just get drunk. They just get so drunk.
They're two peas in a pod.
They really are. I want Gwen to stop. I want Gwen to be stronger and be like, you know what, Jake, you don't deserve me.
Exactly.
You don't deserve me.
I agree. I want Gwen to go out into Salem, find a man, bring him back to the Demira mansion, and be like, this is my new man.
Right.
But, you know, she's still dependent on Jake and doesn't want to let him go. And he was not happy that she is still living at the house, but she ain't leaving.
Exactly.
And then
she's after convincing Chad.
Yeah, and then Kate was curious that Chad may have developed a little crush on her or had a little thing for her. And then at the very end of Friday's episode, when Chad and Gwen were talking, who walks in? Hi, honey, I'm home.
I loved it.
I'm curious to see how Abby or Marcy and Emily, the two actresses, how they mesh together. I think it'll be good. Because Gwen's great, and we know Marcy is great. Yeah. So I'm curious to see how that's going to go, what that drama is going to be.
Well, exactly. So is there always so much going on at the same time?
I know. I'm like, what's going on? What's happening?
You know me and always trying to coordinate.
Is he driving?
Right. No, I especially the way she walked in and to kind of like see some questionable things. She was kind of looking at them like, "What y'all doing?"
Yeah.
So, and that was pretty much it with that storyline, right?
It was very brief.
Yeah, it was just a lot of like Gwen and Jake kind of going back and forth, and Jake being heard about Gabby, and then the return of Abigail, which. Shout out to Marcy Miller because she looked stunning when she came in.
Yes, she did.
So next we have Brady, Marlena, Eric, Kristen, Eli, and Lonnie. What do you think about Lonnie continuing to help Kristen? I
like it. I like that you know, it goes against Lonnie's what do I want to say? Her job. You know, she's not supposed to be helping Kristen because Kristen's still a wanted woman. But, you know, she and Kristen bonded when they were at the convent. They became friends and, you know, clearly they have a bond. And I kind of respect Lonnie for not turning Kristen in and, agreeing to watch the baby. And I commend Eli for standing by his lady, even though he was resistant at first. She talked him into it. And I was like, okay, they're, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I for a second I did agree with Eli and like, you know, she shouldn't be putting you in these positions. But I was like, she really only has Lonnie, you know, as her friend. So like, you know,
right.
Of course.
Who else could she go to with the baby that wouldn't have ratted her out? I guess
exactly.
Chad, maybe. But I don't know if she would have. I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
To have a producer again.
Right.
No, so that was pretty much all with that. And then Brady and Kristen were Kristen surprised Brady, and they had their little a lot of nookie going on in Salem this week. They had their little tryst in the bedroom, and it's good to see Stacy Hayduke back on screen. We love Stacy. She's a friend of ours. So
giving those lovely Brady massages.
Yeah.
I was like,
did you notice how it went like this when he laid down? Oh, hang on. I was like, okay, Eric Martell. Getting those squats in, apparently.
Yes, I noticed that. I noticed that too. I also noticed, I was like, Eric Martov is like tall. And that is like, man.
He's a big man.
Because when he laid down, I was like, that bed ain't big enough. I don't know what it is about days and not having big enough beds, but you know, whatever. But it was good to see Kristen back on the canvas and like, you know, and Brady coming back, which I assume Brady was with Kristen. And then it's almost like.
What I gathered from it was that, I keep wanting to say Eric. Brady came back, and Stacy and Kristen followed him without Brady knowing.
Got it.
That's what I got from it. that
Yeah.
he didn't know she was coming. She kind of surprised him
Yeah.
for
I'm
whatever.
I'm still internally laughing at like, did you see the I
Was it
feel
like
like I feel like someone should make that a GIF. I'm just saying. I just like to put that request out there. And I like that Brady and Marlena had that conversation about John and him kind of
yeah.
like being there for her and everything like that.
And Eric and Brady had a conversation as well.
Yeah.
And they're getting along now, so that's good to see.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then we have Steve, Kayla, and Tripp. I mean, the only thing there is that like Tripp popped in.
Yeah, they took a shower together. Tripp came into the apartment and broke something.
Which I don't understand why anyone sneaks into someone's apartment and breaks something.
I couldn't tell you.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And then Justin and Bonnie. Justin was able to get or is looking to get more for Bonnie.
They presented an offer, which Justin says, "Oh, that means they're scared. We can get a better offer." So he's going to go back and try to get Bonnie an even better offer.
Yeah.
She was very thankful for it.
Yeah, because at first when he ripped everything up, he was like, "Oh," she's like, "Oh no, what are you doing?" And then when he was like, "You deserve more, so you know, and I think I can get you more." I was like, "Good for Justin."
Yeah, Justin's a stand-up guy.
Very stand-up guy.
Apparently, he's good at the negotiating a lot, like lawsuit part of lawyering. Maybe not so much with the other parts.
Yeah. Shade. All right. And that was your week of days. And now we're gonna move on to our segments. And we'll start with mine, which is Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. All right, so my 3 Snaps Award goes to all your business is up on the screen, Michael Mattis.
Oh, everything?
My 3 Snaps Award goes to Brian DiTillo, Lucas, who in the middle of a cat fight gave all the looks and things that we were thinking eternally. Like when he saw that slap and was like, "Oof, girl, you had it coming to you." I was like, Lucas, I am here for you. So Brian DiTillo, Lucas, you get Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. All right, and now it's time for Caption That.
All right, this week's Caption That photo comes courtesy of Jan's introduction into the trial, and this week's caption goes to Bizarro Megan on Instagram with her caption, and I have to read this in Eric voice. It was very specifically in Eric voice. Strong women make me very uncomfortable. In case you didn't understand that, it was strong women make me very uncomfortable. Eric saying strong women, yeah.
That Eric voice.
So congrats, Megan Bizarro. I believe you've had caption of the week before, so good job. Keep on keeping on. And that was this week's Caption That.
All right. And we're going to give a shout out to Me World 2 for his old shiz moment of the week. We will make sure we retweet that later. But now we're going to quickly get into some news and gossip.
News and gossip. All right. So we are excited to announce 2 more virtual events taking place from Spectrum Celebrity Events with Jen Lilly, Eric Martzoff, and Brock Kelly. Eric and Jen will be doing their Q&A together on Saturday, September 26th, and Brock will be doing his Q&A on Saturday, October 3rd. And a reminder, you can also chat with Billy Flynn, Scott Shilstone, and Paul Telfer the weekend of September 18th and 19th. Tickets are $58 per event. Complete info can be found at spectrumcelebrityevents.com. And speaking of Jen Lilly, she's got some new music out. She just released a new album, digital album this past week called Hindsight, which she says pays homage to the 60s and 70s and includes songs written by world-renowned songwriter and performer Diane Warren. Hindsight is now available to stream or to buy through Jen's website at jenlilymusic.com. So go buy it, go stream it, buy it again, stream it again.
Yes. I love her photo.
Oh yeah, the album cover.
Kind of retro. Yeah,
oh,
it's super cute.
That's what I read a little bit about the album. She was trying to go for that, like a retro 60s,
kind of
70s vibe with the album. So yeah, good for her.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to show you a quick promo on what's coming up on next week's episodes of Days of Our Lives.
I am yours, Winston.
Forever. He's taken my wife, my everything. Where is she?
Hey.
No. Mm-mm. Don't they do that? Don't they do that? They better not. They better not do that. Listen, we don't need nobody else dying in no fire.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. Like, you know, the whole, you know, dying in an explosion. Only, no.
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 Well, next week is gonna be hot.
Amen.
All right, y'all. So the time has come to now add in our wonderful guests. We unfortunately bid adieu to them this week, but they are here to chat live with us. We are going to bring them in now, and hold on because everything has to get situated. This is Zoom, so you gotta make sure people get connected. Oh, there's Freddie.
Look at that shirt.
And then
I love that shirt.
Hold on,
Thank you.
We're now waiting for Chandler to turn.
I have a pair of swim trunks that match that shirt exactly, with the stars on one side and the stripes on the other.
I got it for 4th of July, and then I realized, I can rock it for Labor Day too.
There you go. Yeah.
You gotta love a twofer. And of course, there's Chandler Massey in the car.
What's up,
Chandler?
I'm gonna be somewhere where I can get out of the car in 3 minutes. But
Okay, that's totally fine. You take your time and be safe.
be safe.
I joked with Tony before the show. I was like, what if Chandler's driving? Because he's driving. And we're like, oh yeah, huh? And there he is.
And he pops on, and there he is, safely
cross-country driving. Oof,
in his Tesla.
Yeah.
So should I call back in 3 minutes, or I can let the car drive actually to the destination?
Oh no, you stick with us.
I'll practice my stand-up routine while we wait. How's it going, everyone? So have you ever gone to the grocery store and
No.
What's the deal with grocery store?
First of all, I'm super excited to have you guys on. I was very sad that we had to say goodbye to Will and Sunny. You guys know how much we absolutely love your characters and love the fact that you guys have been representing the LGBTQIA community very well throughout your time. But you guys also know when it comes to our show, we love to play games or have surprises. So before we get into all of the Will and Sunny storylines and what's happening, I have two people who want to come on and chat with you guys before we get started. So everyone, please help me welcome Allison Sweeney and Brian Datillo.
Hi.
Hey.
Wait a second. Chandler's driving?
Chandler pops in, and we totally felt like, we were like, he's probably going to be in the car, but my co-host Michael was like, he's going to be driving, and he pops in and he's driving.
Dangerous, Chandler. How could you?
I'm parking right now, pulling into YMCA, and now I am safe.
Chandler, what state are you in? Like, how far are you?
Oh, I'm in Georgia. Yeah, I got back.
Georgia.
There he
Now look who's here.
Georgia.
Oh yeah.
There's some good hunting in Georgia.
Brian,
Yeah, what's up, girl?
what's up?
So
Am I
welcome.
too sunny in my kitchen?
Oh no, you look great. You look great, B. Allison and Brian, thank you guys so much for joining us on our show. We felt like we couldn't have Freddie and Chandler on without having you two on to talk about, you know, their time on the show and your times together. We thought it would be a great surprise. They had no idea that this was arranged. So we're glad that you guys popped on.
You had to say hello, Tony. I mean, the idea of being there for Freddie and Chandler was just really special. So I'm happy to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. And it's good to see you again, see you both again. It's been a while since we've had you guys on our show and in our studio. So thanks for joining. As you guys reminisce about their time on the show and the work that you all did together, what has it been like, you know, working with them and with this extraordinary storyline that has just kind of captivated all of us?
Hard, because they're so good. You got to keep up with them because they're always good. And if you're not good, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb.
I definitely echo that. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've been dealing with that with Brian Tillo since day one. So
Sweeney, you look so cute.
I got all dressed up. I'm in quarantine. I have nothing to do all day except like this was my big event. So I spent a long time getting ready.
I even shaved. It's so bad I shaved for this.
Oh, nice, fancy. Chandler, Freddie, that's how serious we care about you both.
I feel the love. I love that.
Yeah.
Are you drinking beer, Brian?
It's a light beer, yes.
Well, cheers, my
It's an
friend.
afternoon.
Hey.
Hold on.
Good. Oh.
Are they all drinking?
All I have is a mug, so you don't know
It's
what's
Labor Day
in the
weekend.
mug.
Why aren't you drinking?
Cheers,
Why aren't you
everybody.
drinking?
Cheers.
Now, if Chandler pulls something out, we're in trouble. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, don't do that. Trust me, don't do that.
What are also some fond memories that you guys have working on set that we may not know about? Because it's been so many years of you all working together and putting these storylines together and just creating.
I don't know if it was my very first scene with you, Chandler, but I remember like one of your first days on set, we had a scene in the DeMera mansion. And like sort of as per usual, I don't always necessarily deliver the line or like deliver the lines as, on the page. And sometimes I feel like Sami would keep talking until someone else like stops her. And I don't know that I said that to you or in any way, like we had some sort of prep conversation about it. And I just remember you like filled in the void and like totally understood the scene and helped rescue me, really is where I'm trying to go with this, from like messing up another take. And I walked away and I think I said to Brian, like, oh, he's good. Like this is gonna work out really well for us. And,
I know your lines with him.
So I just remember knowing from the very beginning how lucky we were to have you, Chandler. And
go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, feel free, jump in.
I was just gonna say I remember reading those were back in the days when I would read the whole script, and I just remember the amount of dialogue. There's no way that any human being, I don't care how your short-term memory is, but like there's no way you can get all the lines verbatim that they gave Sami. Like just endless speeches, and like it was incredible. I was so in awe just with how you're able just to get them out and like make them your own too. That was really cool. It was cool to watch.
Thank you. And Freddie, I remember we didn't, have so many scenes together, but I do remember being stuck in a closet with you when we were hiding from someone. And You and I had so much fun in that storyline. I really enjoyed doing those scenes with you.
I remember there was some joke where I was like, or you said it or I said it, where I'm coming out of the closet again, or there was some closet joke.
Right.
Looking for something. Do you remember what we were looking for?
No, but I do sort of remember that was there a character named Ariana? Was that like a Rafe's sister, maybe kind of? Not Camilla, right? Like
no. Lindsay Hartley played Ariana,
and she had I was in a fight with her, and she had something that we needed. Oh my God, Tony and Michael know what we're talking about.
It was a recording. I think.
A tape.
Yeah.
Something. Of me confessing something. Someone confessing something.
Yeah.
Sammy doesn't have luck with recordings.
Yeah.
Everyone gets there with a tape.
Never good. Brian and I had that same scenario many years earlier. There was a tape Victor had of us, and you and I were hiding under Victor's desk arguing about who was gonna. Do you remember that? Like way back, like centuries ago. I just remember being stuck in Victor's office at Countess Wilhelmina or something.
Note to self: no one should have a recording of anything because they always get someone in trouble.
Yeah.
right. Why people continue to record things is not good.
Beyond us. For you, Allison and Brian, when Days introduced the storyline of Will coming out and then eventually pairing Will with Sonny, what were your thoughts on this storyline and the progression of it, seeing as how this had never been talked about or done on Days, and now we have this very prominent family dealing with their now coming out of the closet son, and now his relationship and being married and kids and everything like that. How has that been for you all, like, getting introduced to that storyline and seeing the progression of it?
It was great. For me, I got a lot of positive feedback for fans that watched that and went through a similar experience. And they're like, my dad reacted the same way Lucas did at the beginning, but then he came around just like Lucas did because our relationship was strong or this or that. And I always knew that it was going to present like really good acting opportunities, but the opportunity to convey it to the public in the way that the writers did, I thought was very beneficial to a lot of people. Yeah. At least I heard that from a lot of people. So for me to be a part of that was kind of cool to kind of have that, little thing to add to society,
Yeah. Allison, what about you?
Yeah, I remember thinking how hard it would be to play in that, like, it is so topical, it's so relevant, it's so important, and you don't want to mess it up, right? Like, it's so stressful to feel like you're going into a storyline that is gonna have such a spotlight on it. And I just remember feeling so overwhelmed by some of the content, some of the scenes that we had to do. And of course, I mean, you go in knowing that Sami and Lucas are not going to handle it. Like, it's not like it was a surprise.
Especially Sami, right?
Right. That was like the easy part. Like, I know Sami's not going to handle it right, but Brian and I, like, we each kind of had unique ways. But to play all those scenes, Chandler, with you were just so, like, I mean, I think I can't say enough, like, how much fun I had working with you, but specifically tackling, like, really hard dialogue and really complicated story points like that, because I mean, I thought they eventually got to like the good side where Sami was upset for Will, like wanting his life to be easier than that would be, and it was hard. Those scenes are hard, and knowing that I got to play them with you, Chandler, like, I just felt it was exciting and challenging and fun. And one of the best parts about soap is how every day you get that script and it's something new, some new challenge to tackle. And this one, and sometimes the challenge is like, oh, I did these scenes already. That's funny. And then sometimes it's like a whole new beast of something to take on. Something like this was major and important. And like Brian said, we met people every day who had a story like this. And one of the most significant for me was like how many fans we have at Days of Our Lives who have this story and we hadn't told it yet, and then when we got to like the other big milestones, in particular Will's wedding, like I can't tell you, I'm gonna remember Peggy McKay's monologue and Chandler, like,
oh, you remember that?
I can't even say it.
Oh
I hope
my
you've
God.
seen it. If you haven't seen it, Freddie, like it's the most remarkable thing I've ever seen, and she was so good in it, and I can't even talk about it without tearing up. Like things like that are so just, you can't believe we got to do stuff like that in daytime. And then what you didn't like, you want a little behind the scenes stuff. I don't, maybe you guys have already told the story, but the director that day, Stephen Williford, who was also gay, has sort of made this amazing statement at the beginning of the morning, like how proud, he got all choked up, like how proud he was to take on this storyline, how much it meant to him to be part of a day like that. And it was just really breathtaking that whole day to be a part of something like, and the whole storyline to be a part of something like that.
Yeah, we talk about Peggy McKay's speech from the wedding often, and how like we all kind of held our breath because we were like, uh-oh, like where is this going? And then it ended up being so beautiful. And I was like, okay, we all breathed a sigh of relief, like, whew, okay, it came around. But it was like the everything about it was just so touching. And I know for me personally, and Freddie and Chandler, we've talked throughout the years about your storyline and how important it is, but also just how thankful we've been that you all have taken the roles very seriously and representing these characters, you know, fully and as best as you can, and also gaining knowledge about what it's like to, you know, be gay and be in those positions and things like that, and really taking all of that in. So I think many fans say thank you to that.
What I appreciated about the whole storyline in general is how how honest, I guess, is the word to use. Because when I was watching it, and I could absolutely relate to being like, when I was Will's age and I was feeling this way and I was maybe trying to fight it and like everything, I was like, yep, this is how it happens. This is how it happens. And then, but yeah, just the whole representation of it was just has been really great. And yeah, we're sad to kind of see it take a back seat for now. Hopefully just a back seat, and we'll come back eventually.
Because I was hoping for more. I mean, the gay population had started to grow in Salem. You had Paul, you had Evan, well, we call him Evan Christian, but it was Evan or Brock Kelly. And you had for a little bit, the hot bartender with the man bun that I thought should have had a bigger role. So it was like everyone was starting to grow. And then I was like, wait, where's everyone going? Oh, there
it's not
it is.
the same show without it.
Exactly.
No.
And then we actually recently had a chance to talk to Lindsay Arnold, who's been a great addition to the Horton clan. How has it been seen? Because for us, we're used to, you know, like Allie and Johnny and Sydney being like these kids, and now to hear that they're grown up, and now to see Allie, like how has it been especially for Allison and Brian to know that like just a short while ago these were kids that, you know, you were slapping Nicole over for stealing and all that, and now they're like adults. How has it been to have
I know
Lindsay?
I know I'm old, but you know, it is a slap reminder how old I really am. So, you know, it's all good. We all got to take our turn being young, and we all got to take our turn being old. And certain things happen in your life where you're like, oh man, oh no, this has got, you know, just the whole grandparent title growing and that thing. It's tough, man, but you know what? Somebody's got to be the grandpa.
This is true.
Somebody's got to be the grandpa. So
Brian and I've joked about
actually me.
Brian and I've joked about being the grandparents like in Salem since 1995. So I feel like this is something we knew was coming for a long time.
Pat Muldoon was right.
Right. He had his lid down, man, and he never looked back.
One of the few things he was right about. Dude, you're going to be playing Lucas till you're 50. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Yeah, you are, bro. You are, Lucas. You're not even acting.
My God, I had my dad was upset about these courtroom scenes that are airing right now. And know, like, I don't know why, but I texted him back, like, what are you talking about? Sami, like, doesn't want her to give her kid away to the first person in line. This isn't an ice cream store. And it was so funny. My dad got all like, you know, my dad, Brian, he was all like, Allie, you're taking this very seriously. It's just a character. I was just kidding. And I was like, wait, what? You started it. I was minding my own business. And now I'm like a texting battle with my dad about
Ender is concerned.
Grandchild.
Sweeney is concerned.
He was concerned.
we have definitely been talking about those courtroom scenes because Sami has pulled out all the stops, but I feel like we kind of go, it's Sami. That's what she does. But go ahead, Allison.
I was gonna ask you guys, Chandler, Freddie, did you guys get a chance to work with Lindsay very much?
Yeah, I think how many eps did we do, Chandler? I'd say like 5 or 6 with her, right?
Oh yeah, I think maybe more than maybe like I was gonna say like a dozen. Yeah.
Just she was great.
Yeah, we were planning. We were being, you know, oh, she's amazing. You know, sliding in, trying to be as supportive as possible, while also, you know, manipulating her into giving us the child. Ended up backfiring. Thanks to me, but yeah. Yeah, Lindsay, I really, really liked working with her, and I think she's a special talent.
It's funny because we get the chance to work with lots of different people, like, and it sounds like we're all saying the same thing, but the truth is, like, that doesn't happen very often, right? Like, the 4 of us kind of have had the opportunity where you work with so many different people every day on a show like that, and I think these 3 are examples of that moment, that feeling you have of like, oh, this is really going to work, and you don't get that a lot.
Well, she was so young, and she did such a great job, or does a great job to handle that dialogue and that story. I don't know if I would have been given that type of emotional scenes when I first started if I was equipped yet.
So right, me neither. Yeah.
She was like, wow, like she did a fantastic job, which makes our jobs easier. So I always love that. And so yeah, kudos to her. She really stepped in and just acted as if she was there for years. So
we agree. We were very impressed by the way she was able to just kind of step in with a lot of like the heavy hitters and just ran with it. And we were very impressed by it. Yeah.
Because I would have been super nervous to like have those first scenes that she had with you all. I would have been like so terrified, but like she handled it like such a champ. And I literally look at her and go, yeah, she's a little bit of Sami and a little bit of Lucas, and like she's playing it so well.
Yeah.
So good. Before we let you all go, Allison and Brian, Freddie and Chandler, you're with us for a while. But before we let you all go, Allison and Brian, especially being a part of the show for as long as you have, do you have any words of advice or wisdom for Chandler and Freddie as they move into the next phase of their life or career?
I would say that you don't allow one role as an actor to define you at all. So go out there and, you know, explore every angle of yourself in every role. I guess there's always a little bit of yourself in every role, but you don't have to be attached to the character you were. You get to, the freedom is out there to, you know, express yourself in different ways, because sometimes on days the characters might limit you in some ways. So it's fun to audition for other things. And I don't know, I don't get other things, but I'm sure they will. You know, but that's the fun of it, is proving that you can work even, you know, deeper or better, or use different parts of yourself. So I would look forward to that, because you have so much of your future ahead of you to do that. You know, I would look at it as a great opportunity and point in your lives, both of you, because both you guys are so talented. You guys could do so much, and I think the show is it showcases a lot of talent, but there's even more to show for both, I think.
Agreed.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Allison,
I would just say, you know, just everything I've ever done, like the work that we put in at Days, it serves you in every other thing that you do. Like what we do, and I sort of now have let go of like, I don't mean it in a mean way, but it's harder than anything else I've ever done. And so every other challenge when they're like, oh, we're going to do the first part of this scene and then another scene, and then we're going to reverse it. And I'm like, we do like, so like you have, that's fine. We can do anything. And how many, you know, directors or cameramen have been like, oh my God, you actually like landed on your mark every time. I'm like, yeah. Cause that's what we do. That's what we do. Like you told me where to stand and I'm going to stand there. That's fine. Like, or, you know, the Deidre Hall lesson of like how to find your light. I cannot tell you how many times in my whole life, like it's the most valuable lesson I've ever learned is not to block someone's light, how to find your own, and that it serves you so well in everything. Like it's, I always sort of cringe at actors who aren't proud of what we do in daytime, because I think what we do is harder than anything else I've ever done.
Agreed.
By a mile. And
yeah.
And so it's just so like useful and helpful, and look at it like that, you know, be proud of that, what you've accomplished, because it's a lot of people could not do what we do every day.
True.
We say that all the time, and we definitely always commend you all for what you do, because I mean, you have to get it right in that one or maybe possibly two takes, and you guys really showcase how talented you are. So thank you for your work. Really appreciate that.
Thanks, Tone. Chilling on the zone.
Wait, before you hang up on us, can I take a picture?
Of course.
I feel like all I can do is my Instagram right now. I feel like this is what I've got to show for this quarantine I'm in.
Cooking Sweeney.
Wait.
I'm so.
Wait,
I love
should
Cooking Sweeney.
Should I do it like this?
You can.
You can see my like YouTube cam that I have my phone stand up. Oh, and the wine bottle. This wine bottle's for Brian. Okay, ready?
Ready.
Cooking Sweeney.
Wait, I'm gonna do one more of the screen because I feel like then I'll see you guys. Oh wait, then I'm not in it.
Or there's a way you can pull your phone down just so like you're in it.
Ooh, fancy. Ready?
Yeah.
Oh, let Freddie drink. You ready? 1, 2. Okay, got it. Thank you.
I'm glad that I put my curl activator in so that way my hair looks real good for you. Appreciate that.
The high top fade, baby.
Well, listen, you know I like changing my look every now and then.
You looking good.
Thank you. Hey, thank you, Allison and Brian, so much. I really appreciate you all stopping in, and we're so glad that you guys are sticking around Salem for a little bit. And we're excited to see what happens, and hopefully we can talk more again.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm so happy you guys are doing this, and Chandler and Freddie, I'm going to miss you guys so much. So until I see you again soon. Yeah.
Thank you for all your kind words, both of you. That was very sweet. And, we are just so excited that we got to work with you all these years, and it's been great. And I'm excited for us to connect in the future very soon.
Oh yeah. We love you guys.
Oh.
Love you back.
So sweet. I like it.
Thanks, y'all. We appreciate you.
Bye, guys.
All right, I'm leaving.
Bye.
I don't know how to get out. Okay, bye.
Bye. There we are. Yay. Well, that was fun, right?
Yeah. What a surprise. That was nice.
Yes. Well, guess what? It doesn't stop there. We have 2 more people who want to come on and say hello. We have, of course, with us now, Wally Kurth and Judy Evans.
Oh my God.
Slowly coming in. Welcome to Zoom and live, because it takes a while for everything to connect. Wait, let's see. I hear Wally. And let me just turn your cameras on. You guys are in. There's Wally. Hey, Wally. Hey, Judy.
Hey.
We now have Mr. Wally Kurth and Judy Evans joining us. How are you all?
Good, you?
We're doing great. Thank you guys so much for coming in and popping in. I know I have been like bugging y'all for like a week and being like, don't forget, reminder, here's this, here's that.
Yeah, what?
But I'm so glad you guys popped on. Judy, how everyone has asked us many, many times, like how you've been. How is everything going with you?
Good, good. Almost
Yeah.
completely healed, I think. Maybe 110%. Who knows?
You look great for,
Thank
for
you.
dealt with. Yeah.
Sweet.
So good.
Glad to see you're on the mend. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, definitely. I'm literally, I can almost do everything I used to do before. Maybe better. I'm a bionic woman.
So, as you all know, this week we unfortunately bid adieu to two of our favorite characters, Will and Sunny, and we thought it was important to have you all pop in and say hello and kind of reminisce and talk about the good times that you all had. I know one of the things that was very compelling to us was the death of Adrian and those scenes with Wally and Freddie and poor Judy having to just lay there and like hear all of this. What was filming that like for you all?
Well, trying not to cry while listening to those two boys were so hard. That's all I gotta say.
You had little tears. I remember running down. We were dabbing them in between the scenes when your eyes were closed.
Oh my God, you guys tore it up.
For me, it was, I knew I had to really go there in order to justify the whole story with Kayla and everything else. So as an actor, you can kind of, I've talked to Freddie about this, but you can kind of, either bring your life and to the material or let the material sort of take you there. And I decided, I've never, lost my wife of 30 years. So I decided to just trust the material and just let it go there and let Freddie, just support me. And I just really just sort of went for it. And actually, Freddie, the one scene where you and I was really emotional was cut. So, which was kind of bizarre because that was like one of the most important things I thought would really, important for the audience to see, oh my God, this guy really hit rock bottom, which is really what was, I kept saying that, I hit rock bottom.
Which scene?
I needed Kayla to brought me forward. But Freddie, just being an actor that I just adore, and he and I just sort of held on to each other through the whole grieving thing. But then Chandler came in too, and we had some wonderful scenes with Chandler, and that was just some really great writing. And, it was just, Freddie, don't you agree? It was just some really well-written scripts. And unfortunately, I think it was too long. And it was also a day where there was 3 deaths on the show. There was a lot of grieving, a lot of crying. Remember, there was a baby. The nurse, I can't remember.
Oh, yes.
She died. The baby died. Adrian died. So there was a lot of grieving. So I won't blame my bad performance for the reason why it was cut. I'll blame the fact that it was just too long and too much grief.
Wally,
Wally,
you made a comment when we interviewed you at Day of Days and it was this past year, and it was kind of like the reveal of the time jump was coming up, and you made a comment that the material that was about to be aired was like some of your most, I think you used the word like most challenging or what you're most proud of. What were you referring to? What you were just talking about in that interview? Or, yeah.
I had just done it.
I remembered you saying that, and then as we were watching everything unfold, I'm like, oh, I wonder if this is what he was talking about. But then it was like more than one thing. It was like, them dealing with the actual death, but then later on dealing with what actually happened versus what they thought happened. So I mean, it was all great. But yeah, I was always curious, like, oh, what if there was something very specific, or was it just the whole storyline in general?
You know what? When I saw you at the Day of Days, let me make a correction. When I saw you at the Day of Days, I think we had just finished that whole storyline. So the wedding to Kayla was, didn't go off. So there, I was sort of referring to that whole 6 months, honestly, because I had that scene with Orpheus, and I had all the wedding stuff, and I had Adrian's death. So that whole 6 months was just really emotional. And, my character of Justin never had, experienced any of that stuff. And so that was, that's what I was referring to.
Okay.
We
Hey
just
Chandler,
had,
how you doing down there? You sitting in your car down there in Atlanta?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm.
Going on
I
a
was
road
actually,
trip?
I was driving at the beginning of this live Zoom, but I've since parked and now
You don't want to.
yeah, just
You don't want to. You don't want to drive and Zoom. No driving and Zoom.
yeah,
no
not
driving and
advised.
zooming.
Yeah, fortunately, I was just able to finish the road trip before this, so which is good news.
Good.
Freddie, it's good to see you. Judy, mwah. Good to see you guys.
Good to see all you guys, all y'all.
So we just had Allison and Brian on, and I asked them this question, and now I'm going to ask you, Wally and Judy, with the introduction of Freddie as Sonny and having an openly gay son, and then watching the storyline unfold with Will coming out of the closet and seeing this on Days, what was your initial reaction to the storyline that Days was about to portray? Because again, it hadn't been done on the show before. So what were your thoughts as it unraveled?
Judy, why don't you go?
Well, when they first came to the set and told us, Wally and I high-fived each other like, awesome! We were so excited. And then they're like, man, people are really going to be supportive. Awesome, even more. So it was really exciting. We were so glad to be I know I can speak for myself, and I think Wally too. We were excited to be a part of a storyline like this.
Yeah.
We were immediately excited. Gary Tomlin told us, and we were just like, great. I was just like, just different, and it was just, once again, like, okay, here's something we haven't done. And when you've been around as long as I have, you just wanted to tell a story that you've never told before. And obviously, this was going to be one of those. So,
yeah. We all talked about like the importance of this storyline and how it went. Did you all realize how important it was going to be when it was first presented, and what an impact it would have on fans?
I didn't. I was hopeful. But I to this day, I'm really proud of this show.
Mm-hmm.
From the network to Ken to the writers, the producers, these two wonderful actors who put their heart and soul into these characters. And, it was a group effort, but, I can't, I'm almost going to start crying.
Oh,
I can't express my regard and just regard for these two actors who just put themselves into it. And I've told Freddie this before, and I think I've told Chandler, I don't think if I was there 30 years ago, if I had this storyline, I'm not sure I would have been able to commit to it like that. I just, for fear of what, the world would think, and how they would do it. And, that's who I was. And I just feel like these two actors were fearless, and and I was just so proud of them and so proud to be a part of that story. And the wedding was I was so proud to be a part of that wedding. Both weddings were done, I thought, beautifully well. And I was very proud of being a part of both of them. That's it. Judy?
You couldn't have said it better for me. And I agree. I love the way, he wrote it, and the way those two young men, like you said, committed and went for it. And it is a beautiful story, a beautiful love story.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite scenes that you all have worked together on throughout the years? Because there's many.
There was one
so
scene.
many.
There was one scene early on. We were talking to Maggie. Judy, do you remember this? And I'm not sure even Freddie was in it. And we were just talking about being the parents of a child who's gay. And we talked about, in our opinion, that it's like, your child was born with brown eyes or blue eyes. And that's how we looked at it. And we didn't see anything other than that our son has blue eyes instead of brown eyes.
Love is
And
love.
I just thought it was so lovely and so accepting and so why not? And I know there are parents that do feel that way. And I knew that Will's character was going to be the one that was going to be struggling to come out of the closet. And I thought, well, that was smart to have another character who was already out and the parents were completely accepting, and that was not his story.
Right.
So, I mean, I just remember watching it and thinking, I was just really proud of that and just thought that was really well done and well written.
Yeah.
But when he got married and I had to shave him, I mean, there was Freddie and I have had some amazing scenes together.
I feel Wally and I got, because Judy, I feel like you and I at the beginning, like maybe the first 4 or 5 years, there was a lot of mother-son of you butting in and we would always just be honest and it was always loving and beautiful. And,
Right.
And then, because of Adrian's death, I feel that bonded Sonny and his dad together to conquer that. And you and I, Wally, had some incredible scenes this past year. And, they just wrote it wasn't as if they just gave me parents. The story was amazing that they wrote a real relationship and it just felt so close to home. I've always said I had kind of the same relationship with you two as I do my parents, with that trust and that love. And it never really felt like acting. I feel like we just hit it off and we just, like Wally said, you trust the lines. And I don't think we ever had bad scenes together. Like there was never any bad stories. It was always great stuff. Very blessed with what we had over the years. It was never exposition. We got lucky. It was just always heartfelt and the relationship was very distinctive. You could tell it was those relationships every time.
Yeah. What were the first impressions of Freddie and Chandler when they first got to Days and came on set? And what did you all, Judy and Wally, did you think of these two men?
Well, I auditioned the character of Sonny, and I was so glad when they chose him because his audition was so amazing. And so my first day with seeing him, I was so excited because he was already, I just adored him and thought he was wonderful. So, and Chandler was adorable too. And it was great that they were putting these two together.
Yeah. Wally, how about you?
Well, yeah, and same way. And with Chandler, I thought was really interesting is that, the coming out of a closet story. I mean, Chandler can speak to this, obviously, but I was just very curious as to how that would go. And I loved it. I just thought, Chandler did an amazing job. He's an amazing actor. And the writing I thought was really good. And they allowed it. I felt like they hit all the beats that they needed to hit with the mother and the grandmother and his father. And, Lucas was having a little bit harder time to, get his head around it. And, Sami was a little bit, obviously the mother, I think probably naturally would be more understanding at first. And then he had his grandmother, Marlena, who really was sympathetic and helped them all understand it all. And so really I was enjoying it from a fan perspective as much as a participant. And especially with Will's stuff, because Will was, coming out of the closet.
Yeah.
No, so I just really enjoyed that whole journey. And in fact, when Chandler left, I was really disappointed because I really wanted to see, how it all go. And then he came back, which was great. And yeah.
Yeah.
To Chandler and his performance of a struggling teenager coming out of the closet. I made this comment a little bit earlier, but he's on Chandler. You really sold the struggle and like the intense feelings that a person has when they're dealing with that. And it was very refreshing to see it portrayed just so honestly and true to life. And there were moments, like I said, where I was like, oh, I went through this. This is what I went through. This is how it actually does. So like just the honesty of it was incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, I think I benefited greatly from really, thoughtful writing and then like amazing cast, right? To draw that emotion out of me. Cause I was pretty young, you know, and I certainly wasn't like seasoned, so I needed a lot of help, and I got a lot of help. So yeah, that's what made it happen.
That's what I thought. I thought, you know, Chandler, you had just, yeah, you seemed very young and green, but you just went for it. And I really just, that freshness and that like sort of surprise and like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be this. And I, you know, it was just that innocence. And, you know, that was so vital that to really bring the audience along, you really captured that.
Thank you. That's kind of you to say.
Well, but before we let Wally and Judy go, because I really appreciate you guys hopping on and spending some time with us. Just as I asked Allison and Brian for this, what advice would you give to Freddie and Chandler as they move forward in their careers?
Keep being as brave as you are. Keep taking risks. You guys are both so very talented. The world is your oyster. So eat it up.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything I need to tell these two guys. They're pretty dialed in. They're dialed in as people. They're dialed in as artists. You know, just keep moving on. And I'm sure if the show is still on the air, you never know. I'm sure, you know, we haven't seen the end of, you know, Sonny and Will. So Wilson. So, you know, I'm not going to say goodbye because I don't believe in goodbyes, but these guys don't need me to.
Look, especially in soaps, it's never goodbye. It's always more like a see you later. You'll be back soon. How that happens, we don't know. You could rise from the dead. You could be a twin. You could be a completely different character. There's all sorts of ways.
They're hanging out in Arizona, just roasting right now.
Oh yeah.
Chances are they'll be back in New York, you know, pretty soon.
Is that where
Illinois, wherever we are.
Illinois.
Well, we have an ocean and a lakefront, so who knows?
Very true. Well, Wally and Judy, thank you guys so much again for popping in. You two are both amazing and look amazing, and thank you so much for your time. I truly appreciate you coming on and surprising these two boys.
Our pleasure. We miss you. We wish you boys so much.
Our pleasure.
Our
pleasure.
Thank you both for your kind words. We love you.
Love you, Freddie. Love you, Chandler. Bye,
Love
Jim.
you.
I'll see you.
Bye, you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And then there's always that moment where everyone tries to get off of the thing. Welcome back, Judy.
How do you do this? Wait, now I got to get out my granny glasses. Okay.
Bye, Judy.
Bye.
There we go. Yay! How was that, you guys?
That was awesome.
That was amazing.
Thank you for setting that up.
Of course. Yeah. You know, we know that you all have really talked about like your time on the show and the things that have transpired and everything like that. So of course we always want to try to do something a little different, you know, to kind of bring things together and you know, and make you guys realize how appreciated you are and some of the amazing things that you've done. And of course, we've had the opportunity to talk to you guys many a times and ask you many a questions. So the last few minutes that we have with you all, we want to kind of dedicate it to the fans and get some of their questions answered. So we have some questions that people have from Twitter, from Instagram, and Facebook, and we're just gonna go with it. And hopefully they're not too bad, but
I screened mine.
You screened yours?
I screened mine, yeah.
I didn't. I was like, they'll be okay.
You never know.
Well, this is true. So one of the questions that Stephanie _Linville4 had was, who do you think your character will miss the most in Salem?
Wow, I would say for me, I would say my dad.
Yeah.
I absolutely think my dad would be. Yeah, he's definitely gonna miss his dad the most.
Yeah. What about you, Chandler?
Yeah, I think it'd have to be either, Sami or Marlena, probably for really different reasons.
Yeah.
Marlena is a pillar of support, and then Sami just keeps his life interesting. So
Okay. I feel like everyone whenever Sami is mentioned, everyone feels the same way and also looks the same way when Sami is mentioned. It's always that kind of,
yeah.
Here we go. This is happening. Michael, what question do you have?
Let's see. Screening. Sarah Yu, one of our regular viewers, wants to ask Freddie, what was the scene, the goodbye scene between Sunny and Victor, and Sunny and or the boys and Camila? Like, how were those scenes for you guys? Like, were they challenging? Were they difficult? Or was it, obviously maybe not easy is the word, but these people that you've been working with for a while, like, did you feel like they were actual goodbyes, or are you able to kind of separate character from what's really going on?
I think the scene with Uncle Vic, interestingly enough, I got notes on that scene. My initial thought was to go in and have a little fun with Uncle Vic, but I wasn't going to get that emotional just because of our past. Like, we kind of butted heads a lot, and I don't know how much I really forgave him for what he did. But then I had a note, this is a really emotional goodbye. And I kind of put all that aside of Will being in prison, and him not saying anything, and focused on the good times, and it became emotional. And it mixes in. I think when you're leaving, it helps your character because it feels kind of real. Mm-hmm. So if anything, it's less challenging because you're really feeling it.
Yeah.
So you add that to your character. Okay. So they were all great. I don't think any of the goodbyes really stood out. I think the one that stood out when I watched it was the goodbye with Wally for some reason, but that was also my last set of scenes. So that was really goodbye. Mm-hmm. So when I was saying goodbye to Wally, that was even, I really liked how that turned out, but I enjoyed the goodbyes with everybody. Everyone was super sweet.
Yeah. We have a question from Brian Luna Actor on Instagram, who asks, did you ever call each other your real names during a scene by accident?
I'm sure. I'm sure at least once. I don't think it wasn't like a problem, but I mean, yeah, I'm sure it happened at least once.
Because we do it all the time here. We're always like, so then Chandler and Freddie, Will and Sunny.
The worst is Eric and Brady, and calling Brady Eric, because
Eric Greg, yeah.
Do you have another one, Michael?
Yeah. We have a Twitter question. Sandy Albright. Did either of you ever do anything funny to your cast members? Like any kind of joking or like jokes or anything?
Pranks
pranks.
Maybe Chandler. I'm not much of a prankster because I don't like to dish out what I can't take. I hate being pranked, so I never pranked anybody. Maybe Chandler did.
I mean, we had those dressing room session things,
Oh, yes.
Were kind of fun that we did with Christopher Sean and then Greg Vaughn a little bit. I'm trying to think. I mean, I think in the early days I was too intimidated by everybody to try and like F with them, but
That would be me too.
But I'll think about it, and then if something pops up, I'll interject.
Okay. This is just a question from me. How do you guys think Salem would have been, or what do you think the storyline could have been had they kept Paul and Christian and you all like in Salem? Do you think there could have been some interesting story there?
Definitely. Well, I was thinking, are we assuming Paul's still paralyzed?
Sure, we'll go with that for now, because I mean, Anything is possible. He could have went to San Francisco and like is walking just fine, just with a needle. I mean, you came back from the dead just from a needle. So like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was joking with Christopher Sean that like, you know, that Will is gonna like sex his legs back. The power of love and lust. It was just gonna make his legs start working. The lower half, he's gonna get it involved again. So
there'd be a sweet moment though of him walking for the first time, getting out of the chair. You'd almost want to see that.
Yeah, agreed. Michael, what's your question?
Lisa M wants to know, Chandler, did you manage to complete your 30 before 30 list?
I had to change it to 30 cities this year. Certainly complicated things. I wasn't really allowed to, leave the country. But yes, I completed the 30 cities before 30. I still got a couple days left in case they lift the travel ban. I could just, I don't know, just spend 1 hour in each country and try and get it that way. But
does the airport count? Yeah.
Yeah, it count airports. I'll have to walk a couple steps outside of the airport. 30 cities before 30 is what I had to make it, and I was able to do that, which was cool.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
I actually did the same thing when I turned 30. I did 30 things in 30 days before I turned 30.
Oh, nice. What were the things?
Some of them were as simple as like play a game of tennis, which I did that with Mark, who used to co-host the show. Buy lottery tickets, because I never went to the store and just bought like a bunch of scratch offs. So I did that. One of the coolest things though is I always wanted to know what it felt like if you just had a ticket to get into the airport and then you could choose which flight you wanted to go to. So I was like, how can I recreate this? So I called the airline and I said, I would like a flight from this day to this day, major US city. Don't tell me the city, just give me prices. And so she started going through the prices and I said that one. And I had no idea where I was going until I got to the gate.
Where was it?
I ended up in Denver, Colorado, which was totally fine because I had never been to Denver. So at first it was tricky because the flight before me said Sacramento. And I was like, do you mean to tell me I did all this and I'm just going to Sacramento? But it was Denver, Colorado. And then funny enough, I was like posting about it on Facebook. And then Molly Burnett messaged me and was like, are you in Denver? And I was like, yeah. And so I ended up meeting her at a bar later and we ended up hanging out while I was there.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was fun. So put that on your list if you once for later.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I'm going to try that. Hopefully I won't go to Sacramento. I'll go somewhere else.
Someplace far. Team Stabby from Instagram wanted to know, do you wish there were more Gabby, Will, Sonny, and Ari scenes on the show to kind of show the family more?
Yeah, I think that would have been great. I think we had a lot of pivotal scenes, but I think there was a lot we could have done.
I think it would see the different, like a clash between parenting styles, like Will and Sonny, like how do we compromise as parents? Gabby, such a strong personality. I think it could have been an opportunity for some levity and a little bit of humor to see the three, Will, Sonny, and Gabby, all try and like raise this daughter together. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like those moments are important. So it would have been great to like see more. And at the
beginning there was that, like the very beginning when Ari was first born, like we were all living in Sonny's apartment, and that was really that was cool. That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Michael Mattis, what do you have from Twitter?
Selena B would like to know, why does Will wear so much plaid? I wear a lot of plaid, so I relate to Will in that respect, but Selena B would like to know why.
So
what was in my dressing room?
Yeah, well, I mean, so the short answer, yeah, I was in my dressing room. I think, but I think they ran with because Will was living when he lost his memory. He thought he was EJ. He was living in Memphis, working as a bartender. So I think you know, they just the wardrobe thought like let's give him that kind of a maybe he's like a plaid kind of like Memphisite Memphisonian. What do you call people from Memphis?
A Memphis.
A Memphysite?
That sounded right. It doesn't move on, but it sounds right.
Yeah.
And it sort of just stuck. Sonny had the monopoly on like suits and dress shirts and stuff. So Will had to just be super casual. I guess.
All right, that makes sense.
Bab Sporter 129 wanted to know who went off script more between Chandler and Freddie. Who tended to not be so precise with the words on paper.
I gotta be honest. I don't know how I would know. Right? Like, would you know, Chandler, if I went off script at all?
No, because I didn't know your lines. So you, but I know I probably went. I would say 25% maybe of the lines were at least altered from, but not necessarily on purpose, like as a conscious choice. But I think especially with Freddie, we had we were very comfortable with each other, so we weren't afraid to, if something felt right, to interject something or say something a slightly different way, because we knew the other person was listening and was going to be able to react, and it felt more like a real conversation that way. Yeah.
The only time we would know is if the ending of like a speech changed and you had to really be listening to go, oh, I was waiting for this one word and that didn't show up, or if what you had kind of locked and loaded didn't match what was said prior, then you were aware that there was a change. But that just kind of became second nature. Like I just always went for it. I don't know. We just kind of used the lines as a guide. And I think we said the lines like 90% of the time right, but we always kind of made our own out of it.
I remember in the early days during the Will's coming out story, I changed like over like 50% of the dialogue. And but like beforehand, I'd make an attempt to run it by the director and things. I don't know why I was so particular about like wanting it to sound, wanting to put it in a way where I felt like I could be truthful with it. But after that, I realized it was, you can't beat the system. So eventually you just gotta say what's on the page. You're gonna get exhausted before fighting it before they do. Yeah,
exactly. What do we have from Twitter, Michael?
All right, last question from me. Lisa M. Another question from Lisa M. Freddie, is there any more news about Unplugged, the script you were writing, or plans to make a second season of Addicts?
Unplugged, there's Unplugged and this reality show are two projects that we are pitching. Unplugged, we are kind of on the back burner with for the moment, but we've been pitching and taking meetings, and it's a grind. To sell a script it's its own beast. So I feel I would like it to be sold tomorrow, but we've probably got a couple years still in us to be able to pull off playing 28. So we have a little time to get it sold. So hopefully we'll get a green light one day soon.
Awesome.
Someone from Instagram, I'm not even going to attempt to like pronounce the name because it's like a bunch of letters, but they wanted to know, how would you compare your chemistry on screen today from when you first started?
These are great questions.
Is it different? I mean, it's obviously grown because you guys have gotten to know each other more throughout the years.
Well, we were also playing Falling in Love and In Lust and doing all our firsts together. So that's going to be a different kind of chemistry compared to the chemistry of having 9 years under your belt, being married, having a kid. And so that had changed. It was interesting because I was watching a lot of clips that fans had put together of our stuff over the years. And I got to tell you, it's so crazy when you look back because it kind of brings you back to that moment. And I just can't believe all the work we did. I kind of forgot a lot of it until I see it. Do you feel the same way, Chandler? I see these scenes of us in bed and I'm like, oh my God, like I remember that. But if I had to just think, it wouldn't have come to mind until I seen it.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, the early days during that portion we were falling in love, I was all about the chemistry being ST, which stands for sexual tension. It was all about that, putting that sexual tension in there. But like Freddie said, you're married, you have a kid, and you have lives and problems and whatnot, and it's not you're not spring chickens anymore, and the chemistry kind of changes. I think it's maybe deeper and it has a foundation of like true companionship and friendship. But it was really cool to be able to play all shades of the shades of both of those, the young and in love, and then married and truly loving each other.
Yeah. Before we let you all go, because we'll just keep talking and answering questions, and I know eventually Chandler wants to get to where he's going, so that you don't have to sit in the car. But
to that strip club.
According to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, they have very good steak at a strip club. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but apparently that's what they said.
Well, that's why I'm going for the steak. What do you
So we have a photo of like your last moment on screen, and we were talking about it, and wanted to ask you guys, was there anything that you said to each other as you all walked? Because it looked like for me that you guys maybe kind of were having a conversation a little bit, but we couldn't tell because you were just leaving Salem. But like, what was that? Was anything said during that? And what was the feeling that you all had during that scene? And was it the last that you actually filmed? Because I know sometimes they film out of order.
I don't know if you remember if we said anything, Chandler. This wasn't our last scene, and there was just a lot going on. It was kind of a whirlwind those last 2 weeks we were there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I said, like right as we were turning the corner, because we had some more scenes after this. Like if we go straight to tape, I think we can get out before lunch. I think
that sounds about right.
No, I mean I remember this though, walking out and just looking at Freddie, and just sort of thinking like, wow, that's it. Like that's the last scene anyone's going to see of this. It was just sort of a weird, like the finale. Like I thought, like the finality would have sunk in, and it didn't. It was sort of it sort of felt like I don't know. It felt strange.
Yeah,
I think it's because it wasn't our last scene, and I think it just felt like we just ran into each other, and it was you're just making a call or something. Like it kind of felt just like every other scene in the sense that we just continued on our work day. Definitely the last scene I filmed was different. But this one, even though I knew this was the last that the audience was going to see, it didn't really sink in until I knew that was the last line I was going to speak, which was with Wally. That was my last one. I think Chandler's was with Deidre, right?
Yeah, my last scenes were with Deidre. Yeah.
Was there a clap afterwards? Was there cake? Because for some reason, like I picture your last scenes happening in two ways. One, like the last scene, and it's like that's a wrap, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, you guys have been amazing," or like, "That's a wrap, moving on." How? What happened after your last scenes? Was there any sort of camaraderie of the cast and crew, or anything?
I kind of touched on this in another, I don't remember where I touched on it, but it kind of felt because so many people come and go It almost felt like people were sad, and I definitely could tell the look on people's faces from the cast and the crew. And then Janet was on the floor. She was the producer on the floor, and she came up and gave me a hug, and everyone was very emotional. It was very sweet, but there was this also thing in the air that everyone was kind of like, you know, you'll be back. You'll be back. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like sometimes when a character would leave a show traditionally and you know they're gone forever, it would have been different. But I kind of feel like on Days, people come and go so much that it was kind of like goodbye, but we know this probably isn't final kind of vibe. Okay. So it was all kind of like in the middle ground there. But I don't know if Chandler's experience was different. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, so when I finished my scenes, Albert, executive producer, came out and said that's a wrap, you know, on Chandler. And I didn't get, I got it, not applause. There was like a smattering of boos, and some fruit and vegetables started flying in. No, but yeah, I agree with Freddie. It was it's almost like there's so many people leave that's the standard thing is, oh, you're leaving for now, right? Like, we'll see you later. And it was nice because I'm not a big goodbye. You know, it would have been hard. I'm a big fan of the Irish goodbye, just sort of, you know, sneaking off. But so I think it made it a little easier, and nobody really wants to say goodbye on that show, because if you did, you'd have to say it so often. Yeah, it would be a bummer.
Yeah. Before we're really going to let you guys go after this, but Michael, Mattis, before we let Freddie and Chandler go, any final thoughts for them?
I think we've covered everything, but just another thank you for you know, being kind of this representation on the show and in daytime, and being a part of this thing that, you know, really showed a gay couple. And the storyline became not about them being gay. The storylines became about, them dealing with marital issues, them dealing with cheating issues, them dealing with custody issues, what have you. They were treated like every other couple. And I think one of the things that made it work and made it so special was the fact that you two gentlemen were the ones bringing it to life. So I thank you, and I applaud all of your work. And I, you know, like everyone else, I hope to see you guys back on screen sooner, you know, soon or soonish, or yeah.
Well, I just want to say I appreciate both of you. Thank you guys so much for, like, always taking the time to hang out with us, for supporting us, and for putting up with all of our fun games that we put you all through. I hope by now you know how to utilize the word girl or any other gay lingo that we have taught you all throughout the years. Well, you know, we try. And Chandler, thanks for letting us hold the Emmy for a few months when we first kind of started. That was a nice decor to the table. But just thank you guys for your talent, for taking this story to the levels and heights that needed to be, and giving it the recognition that it needed to be. I always give Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. So before you guys head out, you guys get Tony's official 3 Snaps Award for all the things that you have done thank you for Days, and just for being super talented people. And I wish you both nothing but the best for what's to come.
Thank you so much, Tony. And that's really sweet. I think of all of the, you know, all the awards that Freddie and I have received over the years, your award is by far the most recent. So thanks.
But thank you both too, because your support, you know, it's I can tell it's you, and that means a lot, you know, because I you know, when you go on and you do interviews, I've just always really appreciated how genuine and how much you really cared about us as people and our characters. And it's always shined through, and it's always been super comfortable. So thank you for your support over the years and making us feel comfortable and having a platform to share stories.
Anytime. And anytime you guys want to come back on just to talk or plug, just give us a ring. We're here every Sunday.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you guys so much. Thanks for taking the time to come on, and much success to you. And Freddie, say hello to Alyssa for us.
Yeah,
I know she's around somewhere.
Will do. Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys. Oh, go ahead, Chandler.
I was gonna say, can you let me know that the next time when you have another Days guest, I want to write in I want to send in a question. Send in a question.
I will do that. I'll text you and say, hey, we have insert Days guest here. What's your question? And I'll be sure to let them know that it came from you. Oh, Chandler, if you can, this is a small favor that is going to make a huge impact on someone. We have a fan of Dishin Days, Dwight, who is a huge fan of yours. And if you could just give him a shout out and say hello, that will probably make his entire life.
Yeah, Dwight. Right. Hello, Dwight. Look me up or send me a message on Instagram. I'll go through my requests and I'll give you a follow. Assuming Dwight, you have an Instagram, but yeah, we can chat.
Yes, he
Thanks
does.
for watching.
Yes, he does. And he'll probably message you and let you know that he created a name for you called Chantilly Blue. Just
oh my
remember
gosh,
that.
Dwight Chantilly Blue.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's a genius.
Yeah.
I want that storyline so bad. I wanted Will to have his own cologne line, Chantilly Blue. Yeah, totally.
That's Dwight. He has every week he has wanted you to be on, and we're like, we're gonna do our best. And so he has been elated this entire time.
Oh, cool. Talking to you, Dwight, on Instagram, and thanks again for. That was one of the storylines. I think Michael Fairman asked me a question that gave me 3 options for storylines. It was evil twin, or like have a robot that controls Brady, something else, or Will starts his own fashion lifestyle brand called with cologne called Chantilly Blue, and I'm like, that's the that's perfect. Yeah,
that's it. All right, well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you both, and keep in touch and let us know what's happening. And I'm pretty sure we'll see each other soon, I'm sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah.
All right. Well, bye, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you both. Enjoy your night.
You too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. That's our show, because Michael Mattis is melting and he is ready to go.
15 minutes ago, I messaged Tony. I was like, gonna wrap this up soon. It was great talking to them, though. It's hard to want to wrap up when you have them engaged and like that,
Yes, and I swear I was, how I've been all day today, trying to coordinate the surprises and everyone. It's been a lot, but so thankful that Freddie and Chandler came on with us, and extra special thank you to Allison and Brian and Wally and Judy for popping in.
I said all so great that they took time out of their days to do this. Yeah.
Yes, appreciate it. So that we can get Michael Mattis into some AC.
Yes.
Let us know where we can find you.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at MLMattis. And don't forget, you can get your waterproof antibacterial face mask since we're gonna be having to wear masks for a while. Etsy.com/shop/facemarkco, or follow Facemark on Instagram. And I'll do another story. So a couple people bought off of
They did. Yeah. I got some messages that said that they bought the face mask, so keep it going.
It's very comfortable, very soft, and again, water resistant on the outside. So for $5 you can't beat it.
Hey. Oh my gosh, sorry. And you guys can find all of us on Facebook and Instagram at Dishin Days or _Dishin Days on the Twitter. And of course, you can find little old me at Lounging with Tony on all social media platforms. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Thank you guys.
What a long show. Bye, y'all. We'll see you next Sunday for another full recap of your favorite soap opera, Days of Our Lives. Bye-bye.